What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Today we are breaking down an insanely fun hunter build with all of the changes that have come to the Edge of Fate with stat reworks, exotic reworks, and of course some featured gear into the game. I've wanted to create builds focused on and around all of that in different ways. So today we're going to break down this hunter build from our subclass, our loadout options, and of course our artifact and our armor mods, then take this into some -40 content to see how well it can actually perform. But before we even get started with that, I wanted to take this into the shooting range just to show you what the basic gameplay looks like from what I'm trying to go for here. If you guys have checked this build out before or you've seen something similar, feel free to leave a like and let me know down in the comments. But without further ado, let's show you guys the gameplay loop here. I really want to focus this first portion just on our super regen. So right now, starting with 0 super, getting melee kills, dodging and punching near every single enemy is just going to aid in pretty insane super regen. As well as we're slowing everything we're dodging by. We're leaving clones with every single dodge. Freezing, also tons and tons of combatants, which just make them that much easier to kill, especially in harder in content. So right there, we were able to get almost 3/4 of our super just to start off. Imagine in harder in content with a lot more dense adds, we are going to have our super back insanely fast. Plus constant uptime on slowing and freezing enemies, as well as creating a ton of clones, making it so we have great survivability because frankly, the ads are going to be shooting those instead of us. Now, when it comes to that, we're going to have combination blow up a ton, but let's break down this entire subclass for you before we do anything else. Now, we are running Silence and Squall because it does pair well with the featured exotic, the Mask of Bacchus. This states, while we have a stasis super equipped, our dodge becomes a longer range, a faster moving shift that partially cloaks us during use, and after shifting, our stasis and our arc weapons gain a stacking damage bonus for a short time. Each stack, I believe, is 10%, and this also includes Lord of Wolves. Despite Lord of Wolves getting a nerf coming up here soon, we will still have the stacking bonus damage because of Mask of Bacchus, and I think it's still going to be pretty viable in most content you want to take it into. And then final blows with this bonus active will refund class ability energy, meaning like you just saw, we dodge and punch non-stop, freezing and killing everything in sight. Now to break down the rest of the actual subclass, want to be running combination blow at ×3. This will last for 20 seconds, giving us a 400% increase to damage. Pairing this with our grapple melee, which counts as a grapple grenade, and a melee in one. So basically, if we run firepower and heavy-handed, this will create 2 orbs of power. Now, grapple did get that nerf where it's not a multiplicative damage off of combination blow. It's more of an additive, but it still does good damage. And I still think that it's worth using, and it unravels targets as well. For the aspects, as you saw, we are running Winter Shroud, so when we dodge their enemies, it slows them, and dodging again will also freeze them. Then there's Threaded Spectre to create that strand clone, where targets basically go onto the decoy rather than shooting at us. Now, for the different fragments that we're going to be using, of course, you can swap some of these out if you're not a fan of it, or you don't need the special stat boost that we're going for. First up is Facet of Sacrifice to give us +10 to our grenade, but also while we have an Arc, Solar, or a Void buff, ability final blows grant bonus Darkness Transcendence energy. What combination blow doesn't say here is it will also make us amplified. Also, that aids into Facet of Sacrifice. Then we've got Facet of Dawn, so powered melee hits against targets will make us radiant, allowing us to pierce barrier shields. Then there's Facet of Balance, so defeating targets with light damage grants us melee energy, and rapidly defeating targets with darkness damage will grant us grenade energy. Then there's Facet of Courage, again giving us +10 to our grenade, and then our Arc, Solar, and Void abilities will deal increased damage to targets afflicted with a darkness debuff, meaning we dodge near them, we proc Facet of Courage, and then our combination blow will deal increased damage. Lastly, we've got Facet of Defiance. This is basically here to give us over 75 in our class ability stat, making sure we have an extremely high uptime and cooldown on our class ability so we can always dodge, meaning we can always punch. Then finishers create a detonation that basically matches your super. Since we're using Silence and Squall, finishers will create a slowing detonation burst once we use it. Now, for the loadout that we're opting to go with is a Stasis Sidearm. You don't necessarily have to use Tenacious Mastery. The new one is also really, really good. This will slow enemies with chill clip, but at the end of the day, it does get a bonus because of Mask of Baccaris. Then our bread and butter is going to be Lord of Wolves. This is going to do insane damage, allow us to just take out barriers every time we're radiant and we proc that shield. Then for our heavy weapon, we're going with the new Boomslang Linear Fusion. Again, this is an arc weapon getting a bonus from Flight Shift from Mask of Baccaris. We got lucky, got Rapid Hit and Vorpal Weapon on it. Then pairing that with Temporal Blast just helps aid in higher damage. Temporal Blast is getting a little bit of a nerf, but I wouldn't be too worried about it because it's still gonna do well in most of the content you're probably gonna be taking it into. If you don't want to run double special, slot out Tenacious for any other weapon. Stasis would be a great choice because of the bonus it gets. But if you have something like the Aurus Neutralizer with 1-2 punch, that's another really good option because of the bonus that it gives your punch. Not bad. Or if you want to take it even further and really build into the melee, toss on Bastion or a shotgun with 1-2 punch, and then toss on a arc auto rifle, an arc hand cannon, anything that is going to be arc related in your secondary or primary slot. That way, all you do is shoot Bastion and punch. It's a great, great melee build. Tons and tons of fun. We've used that combination in multiple other builds on this channel, but it still works really well for this one as well. Now, for the rest of the stats, we're really focusing on as much melee and as much grenade as possible, and then trying to get our class stat as high as we can. So we were lucky enough to get over 75 in our super, over 75 in our class. Our weapon sits at 73, but basically I wanted to make sure I had melee and grenade over 100 because that's going to aid in as much damage with combination blow and is a pretty decent uptime as much as possible. Now, for the rest of the mods, we're going with triple dynamo because this is going to give us our super back insanely fast. As you saw, we were able to get 3/4 of it just dodging through the shooting range. So basically reducing our super cooldown every time we dodge. You can easily slot something out with a siphon mod. You could put on ashes to assets. You could put on hands on. Anything that's going to aid in super regen is what I would honestly recommend in that slot. Now for the gauntlets, I'm running 1 firepower. So every time we get a grapple grenade kill, creates an orb of power. Then since we have a lot of punching, heavy-handed, we're stacking that twice. So it has a shorter cooldown on orbs of power with every powered melee kill. Now for the chest piece, normally it's 3 resistance mods, but for this one, we're running double special. I'm doing 2 resistance mods and then a solar ammo generation for our Lord of Wolves. Leg-wise, I'm opting to go with 2 solar surge mods as well as a solar scavenger mod. You don't need to run this if you don't want to. I just want to get as much damage with Lord of Wolves out as I can, but at the same time, think about ammo economy as well. If you want to slot on Absolution and Better Already easily for just ability regen and health, I would recommend doing that too if you don't want to run multiple surge mods. Probably go with Better Already for health because you're going to be creating a lot of orbs. Then you're going to be able to get health back on every single orb pickup. Now for the cloak, we're running double bomber, so it reduces our grenade cooldown every time we use that class ability. And then powerful attraction, so every time we dodge, we will collect those orbs of power within 12 meters. Now that's your full breakdown of the build. We're going to take this into some -40 content and see how well this will actually perform. Also, when it comes to running content, we're basically only putting this on -40 just to see how well this actually does. We could easily be running this on a lower difficulty to get the exact same rewards as we're going to be getting on this difficulty, but I digress. We're just going to dodge and punch everything we can. It does take a second for your combination blow to stack to get the most damage possible if you're doing harder content. If we're running this on level content, -10, -20, it's going to be much easier to get melee kills right off the bat. So we want to be doing this dodge, punch just as often as we possibly can, spreading threadlings around, sir, and then kill the barrier, dodge again. Lord of Wolves is bonus right there, so we have a lot of damage coming out of that guy. And that's almost, basically we'll kill that knight really fast. And almost not even halfway done with this first room, and we're gonna have our super here pretty shortly. We don't need to use our grapple there, but hey, why not? Where you at? Thank you. And that gave us our super back. So with this setup specifically, I'm not really too concerned about using my super in very specific spots or for, damage or anything like that. Of course, we're going to want to be doing it once we get to that point, but we're going to have a pretty high uptime on our super. And if you build in your super stat, you're just going to have it that much faster. So you don't need to be really conservative with your super whatsoever. And like I said, if you want to run this on a pure arc or a pure stasis build, easily can work as well. I thought about doing that, but then I remembered Threaded Spectre plus Winter Shroud works together, and I just wanted to create a bunch of clones and freeze and shatter a ton of enemies. And that gave us a little bit of a light shift, not too much of a damage buff on it, but enough to just, take care of the knight fairly easily. Where'd you go? Oh, you're over there. Thank you. Come back. And we almost have our grenade back as well, or a grapple. And took care of that guy relatively easily. But right here you can see just a ton of enemies. They're not even really able to do anything here. They're just focused on all of our clones. And we're going to have our super. There we go. But this gives us such a high uptime on combination blow stacks, apart from that Bane that takes a minute to kill, that it makes it really, really easy just to one-punch most things that we're going up against, of course, apart from like heavier or harder yellow bar ads. And we just played that really dumb. So don't be like me. Don't just beeline it straight for the wizard like you got it out for him, because you'll end up getting yourself killed. I should have ran the other way. I should have zigged when I zagged, but we're going to go back in there. We're going to get our revenge on this wizard. Don't you worry. I guess we'll take it out on the Acolyte instead. And we might as well proc Transcendence because we have it. Get that kill, freeze that guy, and come back and get our combination blow stacks back up. So now we can go take care of the wizard that is somewhere over here. We don't necessarily need to go after him, but what we're going to do is pop our super just to see if we can get it back by the time we go into the boss room. There we go. That was a little bit of a riskier play I probably shouldn't have done, but we survived, so it all worked out. Okay, got a combination blow right there. Frozen, shattered, frozen. There we go. Well, actually, we killed the crystal with that last one, so it just despawned the knight. That's fine. Okay, so we have a little over a quarter of our super going into this room. I have a feeling we should be able to get it back by the time we get to the boss. And we have a decent amount of Lord of Wolves ammo, but I'm pretty sure there's usually a special ammo box up here. So that should be able to give us a decent amount of special ammo back. Okay, we got that right there. Now we can just keep this up with punching and dodging and shattering pretty much everything we're going up against. Oh my god, I have an itch on my eyeball. Ah! That's a Bane, so I guess we'll just Lord of Wolves him, because these guys are just super annoying. And there's our super. Okay. And see if we can get just any more ammo progress right there. Oh, that guy's right. He's got it out for us. So we'll take care of that guy real quick. And then we're going to go get this special ammo right here. Proc Transcendence because we have it. I forgot this isn't a Titan build and I don't have Knockout. I've been playing so much Titan recently using knockout that I forget when I am not on a Titan. So don't take my mistakes as the quality of how this build actually is, because frankly, I'm impatient and I just want to punch and kill everything in sight, which ends up to me dying sometimes. Also, the one nice thing about this, if you do have a Tenacious with loose change, all of your debuffs right there will proc loose change. So every time we dodge near an enemy, we'll get that to proc, just helping our reload come back faster, which is nice. Okay, I don't have knockout, remember. Thank you. And we use our super. We have almost all of it back. Well, not almost, like half of it back. So he got a little distracted right there because of our clone, which helps that survivability aspect of it. I think we should be able to get our super back from the ads. But you know what? We haven't used our boom slang at all. So let's take advantage of that, because it does have temporal blast on it, which is still good at the moment. Even if I think it'd still be somewhat decent after the nerf, but I understand why they're taking it off. So he's stuck on our clone right there. So temporal blast procs pretty often with this. And played a little bit dumb right there, and that fire that I stood in just killed me. That was a user mistake, not a build mistake whatsoever, folks. But you can see all we're doing is dodging, we're punching, we're dodging, we're punching. Our super almost came back for a third time right there, or a second time. I forgot to count, to be honest with you. But there's the build. I've had a lot of fun. We do have new featured exotics coming here pretty soon that we're going to help create more builds on. But if there's any specific exotic you guys want me to check out, or if you have a build that you think is just absolutely the meta, go to our Discord, into the Can You Craft section, and drop a dim link and let me know, because I would love to check it out. If you guys enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new. But as always, thank you so much for coming and watching, and I will catch you in the next one.